Okay, we're back from our 15-minute break, a half hour late. But that's part of the course. So anyways, Corey, you've got that language straightened out now?
Yep.
And it's in its correct form?
Yep, I think Linda's got it online and all of us have a paper copy. But basically it's for the current property of the Franklin County State Airport. As we've talked about, sandy soils, that basically this would go into session law as part of that, that they wouldn't have to pay the mitigation fees for the primary agricultural soils, as long as the development was authorized under the FAA Master Airport Plan, and they still have to obtain all their other Act 250 permits. So it doesn't get them out of Act 250, it just is the mitigation fee.
Did Michael O'Grady see it?
Yeah, he wrote it.
Okay.
The only thing he didn't write is state between county and airport.
Yeah.
I made that correction because I got confirmation from V-Trans, that's the official name of that airport.
This is the official name now, instead of Franklin's County Airport.
Franklin County State Airport.
So it clarifies that.
Yeah.
Is there comments in regards to the language?
Looks good to me.
That's
So
fine.
would it be agreeable with the committee to add this language to our bill that we basically have dealt with, that we haven't signed out yet? 709, which deals with miscellaneous ag subjects.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
somebody like to move that?
I'll move that we amend 8709 with draft number 2.1.
Is there a second for that?
Sure.
Anthony, so moved by Brian, seconded by Anthony, that we vote out draft 2.1 of the conversion of primary ag soils language to the state Franklin County, is it?
Yep.
State Airport.
Right.
Would you like to call?
Yeah, Senator Collmore.
Yes.
Senator Parent, yes. Senator Pearson, absent. Senator Polina,
Yes.
Senator Starr.
Yes.
Now I further move that we vote out 8709 as amended.
Is there any further discussion on
I'll just.
any other discussion on 709 before we vote?
Not that I can think of.
If not,
It's been a while.
the clerk calls the roll.
Senator Collmore,
Yes.
Senator Parent, yes. Senator Pearson, absent. Senator Polina,
Yes.
and Senator Starr.
Yes.
Do you want to just let it go 401 or you want to wait for Chris? Or?
We
Just
gotta
a
get
minute.
it out tomorrow.
We won't be here tomorrow either.
And it's just a amendment, he'll still get to vote on the bill on the floor, or if not.
That's right.
We could deal with it. if you-
And we'll just take it and put it in tomorrow. So then it'll come up next week.
Yeah.
So Chris will be back for all the proceedings next week. And maybe Linda, you could email Chris a copy of this and
Corey, are you recording?
Yep.
yeah.
So you will take that bill to email to the Senate staff
Yeah, you take it up.
with the vote, a copy of the bill and vote, and that is a clean copy, what you have.
Okay. Do I have the bill?
You
I don't
need that
have the
too.
bill.
Oh, right.
And then will we need this language in the bill from Michael,
Oh, we have to put it in, right in, so I'll get Michael to do
Yeah.
a clean copy of everything.
right?
You take them both in.
Okay.
So
Or
I'll
he'll-
have him send it.
he'll-
He'll add it on as amended.
And then I'll take it up.
Okay.
So as soon as we have that, Linda, let me know and
I'll
I'll,
let Michael know you did that.
Yeah,
Yep, I'll take it up today.
Oh, before he gets this added to that.
That way it'll get in the calendar too.
Yeah, and So I think that's good. Jackie, you're planning on being on Zoom tomorrow or
Yes,
being
sir.
with us
I'll be
tomorrow?
on Zoom.
We'll have a draft of our issue that we talked about on Zoom yesterday.
Mhm.
And we got a draft one that really, I didn't put it out to anybody because it was wrong. So Michael's redrafting it
Okay,
and we'll have a clean copy by tomorrow
okay.
morning.
It'll be on your website then tomorrow morning or?
Linda will have to post it once we get it.
Okay,
And
I'll send it as soon as that's fine.
once we get it and review it,
Mhm.
so that, because you send out the wrong one and you're, you know,
Just cause confusion
yeah,
amongst
just
us.
causes more grief.
I'll hand this to you
Okay,
now, so we
that's
get everything
perfect.
together and then
So, and
I need
we've
to,
got
I
it,
can rewrite it. if you need to.
That's fine.
I think we've got it set up, the second.
Thank
draft
you all.
will be set up separate.
Thank you.
It'll be part of the total bill, but it's gonna be separated out from the commercial sections of the bill and using water. And ag will have its own section within the bill. But it's gonna be reported to, as we talked yesterday, to the ag agency
Good.
on their forms. And the agency then would forward those numbers on to A&R. So it could be added to the totals.
Mhm.
So, basically, that's what we talked about and sort of agreed to yesterday, so.
I think it was a great compromise on behalf of the farming community and thank you because they just,
Well, we haven't got it done yet.
I know, I have all faith in you.
And once we get that, then and we did get an extension of time.
Okay.
So if we find a little grief tomorrow,
Mhm.
we still got some time to work on
Good.
anything next week.
Good.
So hopefully we got it pretty good so that it'll be acceptable. But,
Really thank you for working on that. It's been hard.
well, I think we were all fortunate that we've had some time
Yes.
because we got most of our stuff done in a timely fashion. So we aren't going to be pushing against the clock and everything else that's happening. Brian?
Can I ask Jackie a couple questions?
Sure. Thank you.
Did you hear from Yoder?
No, I got the email that you sent
Yeah.
and I have not heard from
Okay.
her yet. Do you want me to email?
That would be great if you'd reach out, because I don't know the way, sometimes when you forward something, part of what is in that string doesn't get attached.
Sure.
So you might have just got a part that said,
I have two iPads, one of them is set up that way, the other one's set up in a way that everything is separate, and I wish the
Yeah,
used for work.
yeah. So I'm not sure.
It
if you
lumps all
got-
the emails together in a way that makes it hard to respond
Yeah.
sometimes.
I will, when I get home, I'll email.
All right,
her.
yeah, I just wanna, or if you've heard from anybody in my district, in that Rutland district
Yeah.
that said, hey, this is still not right, or, of course, they haven't seen the language yet, but,
Well, I
It'll-
think Justin Rich has been sending,
Okay.
and actually I did send out to some of my members what you talked about yesterday. So, yeah, so the language on two bills, it's the rights farm and the water have been floating around out there as we've been updated watching the committee
oh, good,
discussion.
okay,
So,
good,
but I will get back to
thank you.
them directly, yeah.
And did you hear anything from any of your crew on 466, what we were thinking of doing that was kind of still messed up?
No, I think that this was a wonderful compromise. The concern, as Justin's group had, was the identifying the permitting, the regulating, because that, we could just see it coming.
Of course.
And,
The ladder.
you know, and I don't think any of us, you know, all farmers do ag census, we do maple census, we do water, as you heard, Ryan talk about, and I don't think we have a problem offering information for a database. What we have a problem with is what's the next step? And we needed to really slow that down, because why would you want that with that permit word in there unless that's exactly where you were going?
Okay.
And if it falls right, it wouldn't do any harm if some of your people could send emails to Natural Resources Committee, especially the chair, saying that they could support the bill as we have corrected it. And if you don't, you know, once you see the language, I don't want you to take my word for it. 'Cause, you know, I could
Justin
miss.
and I have already discussed the fact that after we get off the Zoom tomorrow, if whatever, we see whatever you've done and it, you know, look, we will get the word out to all of our members, because I have a report to Farm Bureau tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow,
And
good.
he does,
Oh, good.
yeah, he has the ability to email his members. And we will, again, say, please contact senators on the Natural Resources Committee and say that this is what the ag.
Well, of course, I don't know who sent the email out, but whoever sent that one out Monday did a hell of a good job, because when we got here Tuesday morning, the place was on fire.
Justin and I both sent out emails on Monday.
And they, of course, rural Vermont got the credit for it,
So,
but anyways, them suckers at rural Vermont sent out that notification. They even contacted everybody in Vermont, but regardless of who sent it out, it was certainly received, and we all were confronted on Tuesday.
I hope in a nice way.
Yeah, so I'll just suggest not necessarily confine your encouragement for the support of the bill to those 5 senators. I would make,
Oh, no, that's when I
All
send
30.
an alert out,
good.
we put, usually what I try to do, because it's so much easier for the members, is to call the clerk's office and leave a message, because what we've said is, when you come in for your coffee at noon, before you turn on the news and across the fence, pick up the phone, dial 828-2228, leave your name, number, ask for your senator, and say, we support this bill. And
okay,
and it's a 5-minute, you know, we're trying to make it as quick for them as possible, and a 5-minute phone call is probably the quickest. So that, so if you get phone
Pages get the messages.
yeah, and that's, so those, the phone messages will usually come from the Farm Bureau people, because it's just, we've kind of trained them just to say, to 5 minutes at noon, drink your coffee, make a phone call. So, and I think that Justin was more, they send an email, you know, and that's fine too, however.
Well,
Good, all right.
last night I was doing emails late, and even from yesterday morning,
Yeah.
because I didn't have any time during the day.
Mhm.
And some of them emails I should have read at lunchtime or something.
You guys
Didn't
don't have
get
any
to 'em.
time. At this time of year, there's just no time to do any of that.
So,
Well, hopefully we can get this working
yeah, and,
next week.
and Chris is on board
Yeah.
with what we're trying to do, so it'll be a
Yes.
5-0 vote, I would
Terrific.
expect, and, so that, if we can get Chris and Natural Resources on board with it, I would think they would welcome the controversy to go away, and that we could all get behind it and support it and collect the data and move forward without disrupting, really. It's going to disrupt some of those other people's. But even the guys that on construction that haul water to water roads
We
down,
had a free
and they
pass.
pump, well, no, they're in.
Yeah, but they don't need a permit or they don't have to report, do they? They have to estimate after
Well,
the
the
fact.
highway crews, but I think what they'll end up having to do is report to transportation. You know,
Oh, that's
at
true.
the end of the day, the driver's
Yeah.
written down, he's drawn 20 loads of water, of 5,000 gallons a trip. And at the end of the week, I would think they would send that to their boss and their boss would forward it to somebody, and because they suck up a lot of water when,
Doing
I
that.
mean.
Sure.
That's an interesting question though, because if they start, if anyone questions the fact that you're having us send it to ag, if V-Trans has to send it to V-Trans, then it's already separated and it all goes to A&R anyhow. So I just want to, what I would like to have in this conversation come out is that the farmers were absolutely proactive and don't mind sharing that data and look forward to sharing that data. And then let's decide the next step.
Yeah,
But
that's
we
what,
were part of the conversation. And we would not be part of the rulemaking because of when they hold it, so. That rulemaking just drives me nuts, because if it's anything having to do with ag, you can't be involved.
well, and I've only been to one process of rulemaking. And they told me that day, well, they told me that day, are you on the list? Did you register to be on the list? And I said, what list? Well, the list so you could speak today. No, I didn't realize you had to be on the list. Well, you've got to be on the list. And I said, that's complete BS, and I didn't use BS words either. I'm here to testify, and I'm gonna testify before I leave. So you gotta put me on the list, even though I might be a few hours late of getting on the list that nobody ever told me you had to be on. And anyways.
We had the same challenges when they were doing, I think it was the wetlands rulemaking.
They have a
several
list.
years. Well, it was, because I went down to one in Bradford, yeah, you have a list, there's a list, and there were farmers there that didn't get on the list.
Oh, I was.
Yeah.
Weren't you there? Yeah, it was,
there.
and in Bradford down there, it was,
Wasn't it was at Saracoco's.
yes, at the.
No, I didn't know. No, I've only been to one of those.
There. It
Well,
was
I
our
didn't-
wetland meeting.
Yeah, but I didn't go to testify. I was at holding the meeting. We were-
Exactly.
It was on the
You and
other
I-
end.
Yeah.
You and I were on the.
Yeah. Yeah,
It was,
see how that worked out.
it's not a very good process.
No,
And, but anyways,
So did you rang? Did you want me down here?
no,
I just said, I wrote you to say they passed the bill.
Linda wanted you down.
past age of 709.
Oh,
709 with the addition of the airport language.
oh, okay.
That's what I sent you.
Okay, great.
Do you want to report
So-
to them what
so-
just happened in judiciary?
Yeah, I thought that's what you wanted.
Well,
No.
we were watching part of it, but we didn't get in at the beginning.
Yeah, and we couldn't get in to testify, so
Oh, you
We weren't on the
wanted to
list.
we
testify
got very
too?
upset.
Did you ask to testify?
Yeah,
For that?
and they wouldn't let us in.
Oh,
They
my.
said they were all booked up and we couldn't get on the list, so, no, have a seat. We got the big, we have the big chair ready for you to sit
Well,
in.
do you want me to tell you what happened?
Yeah,
You can say.
yeah.
Well, this will be an
And you
update.
don't have to be asked, you know, to come down. You're always welcome.
Well, thanks. I've got a crew up there and now there's a woman from, I don't know, she's an older woman from.
Oh, yeah, we
she's a
just sent her
lifelong
out.
learner. Yeah,
Issues
I
here.
can't imagine who that might be.
I don't know her name.
It isn't me. But I am a lifelong learner.
Yeah,
No, she
used
was
to be-
here.
She's a good friend of Bill Doyle's.
I wondered about that.
Yeah.
I didn't really get a chance to, she sort of launched into her thing about,
Right.
hog
Right
farms
to
in North
farm.
Carolina and I couldn't really say, oh, what's your name? Or, you know, like, did you know Bill Doyle? What's going on with Bill Doyle, by the way?
He's in a
Still
place
alone?
called,
Northfield.
no, it's going down to Northfield, it's Mayo, it's called Mayo. It's an assisted care place,
Yeah.
residential care. I guess
His
it's called.
wife is there too, isn't she?
Is
I thought she
Elaine
was
there?
somewhere else, but she's somewhere. She might be there too. I'm not sure.
I get, every time I go.
She was at the Gary home, I thought.
Oh, was she at the? Every
But it
time
may
I
not
go
be
to
there
the
anymore, I don't know.
CSG,
It's been a
they
while.
all ask me about Bill, because Bill got me
Still
involved there,
at,
and
I think.
he's got, I have a soft spot in my heart for
Oh,
Bill.
for Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we all do.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think he's gotta be something 100 this year or.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, he was
he was here till he was 95.
Yeah.
90 something
Yeah.
and,
Huh.
so anyways, we watched, we
Yeah.
got on the Zoom
Yeah,
and, we watched somebody talking, but I don't know who, but we caught most of, Steve's,
yeah, Steve did a
testimony.
great job.
I thought he did.
Yeah.
And,
So they had
so-
John Groveman testifying, John Groveman, Scott Sanderson
Yeah.
from CLF. They had Jerry Tarrant, and I think he's maybe Vermont Law School,
yeah,
Yeah.
and there was somebody else.
the older gentleman,
Oh, it was Steve,
pardon?
Steve Collier testified,
No.
as you know.
The older gentleman that.
Yeah,
Jerry Tarrant.
that was Jerry Tarrant.
Is he Vermont Law School?
I believe
He's
so.
an
He
attorney in
made-
Montpelier too.
Oh, is he?
He practices with Paul Gillies.
Yeah, okay, yep.
And he
And
used to
he
be,
made a couple of suggestions.
he's been
on
involved in a lot
language
of
change.
land use stuff, but maybe he was part of like, whatever it was called, the Natural Resources Board or whatever it was
Yeah.
at the time.
So
So how did you make it?
as you know, we were working on your S-258. And we, and we have not made any changes to your underlying bill. But what we would like to do is amend it to clarify what the agricultural activities are in terms of right to farming, right to farm. And one of the questions, and by the way, we had a conversation with Mike O'Grady, Maxine, Martin Lalonde, Henry Pearl, and myself yesterday. So part of what I'm going to say is from that conversation, part of it's going to be from what happened today, which you were apparently listening to, or at least you heard part of it. So one of the questions yesterday was why are we laying this out? You know, why are we adding to this? And our position is that agriculture has changed a lot since 2003, when we did the original.
Oh,
right to
20
farm
years
bill.
ago.
We're looking at regenerative agriculture, manure injection, more cover cropping. All of these things are helping with the incredible phosphorus reduction in the lake that agriculture can take credit for. So there are practices that have changed. And we are also asking farmers to diversify. And, you know, we know what's happened with dairy farming. We know that there's been a decrease in the number of dairy farms, not so much the number of cows, but
They're down.
but it's been dramatic in terms of the number of farms, but many of those farms, the cows are being absorbed into other farms, but not necessarily a trend I like to see in terms of consolidation, but, you know, it's happening. So we're asking those farmers to diversify and asking dairy farmers to diversify so that they can be successful. Because we know they keep the land open and no one comes to Vermont as a tourist to look at the subdivisions in Williston, right? Because they look at the-
I drive down to look at them.
Do you?
To
Well-
appreciate where I've come from. 'cause, you
Well,
know, you
that's,
lose
I
that
might have to try that, Bobby, but yeah, you would, right?
Yeah,
So at any rate, we added this language that was in S-268. in terms of defining, further clarifying and updating what is considered an agricultural activity. We did not go anywhere near the rebuttable presumption in terms of eliminating it. It's still there. We did not go for the attorney's fees. That's not part. All this is an attempt to take a first step in clarifying and updating what, like, for instance, you would think that people would know, under the agricultural activities laid out that,
Now, are they acceptable ag procedures?
yeah,
Yeah. okay.
yeah, they are. You'd think that moving equipment on a highway would be, I mean, you gotta move tractors, you gotta move stuff to do farming,
Motors and
but that's not laid out in the underlying agricultural activity. So we include in this the movement of farm vehicles, machinery, equipment, and products and associated inputs on the roadway.
Yeah.
Okay.
makes sense.
So, at any rate, that's, there's sort of somewhat duplicative language, but there are other things that, spell things out. You probably heard Mr. Tarrant say that he was concerned about subsection L,
Yeah,
which is the expansion, change, or conversion of farming practices or agricultural activities on a farm. And Steve Collier listened and he said that he didn't feel that it made a huge difference at
it
all.
was just wording changes that he wanted to,
Yes,
or thought
Yes.
maybe would improve or clarify.
yeah,
But
yeah.
So you're
Steve,
gonna perhaps strike that, or?
No, it's gonna just be altered.
okay,
So, there are a couple of other,
but the only addition to acceptable ag practices is the one about moving machinery.
they had no problem with that. They said, oh, well, that's a no-brainer. You gotta do that basically. And O'Grady said yesterday, we're asking our farmers to diversify, but there is a fear factor in the agricultural community, because, we have a lot of folks from another part of the world moving in who don't necessarily understand what agriculture is and what it entails. And the fact that occasionally you might have to smell manure. So, they
Not with
accepted,
injection,
right,
which we're trying to promote.
exactly. So, but when people agitate their manure pits, it
To
can
get
cause,
too close.
it can get odoriferous.
Yeah,
So,
what'd you call
odoriferous,
it? It stinks.
it stinks,
Yeah,
yeah.
I understand.
And as Rodney said, maybe you heard or maybe you didn't.
I heard something, I think.
Well,
You heard it right, Lauren.
chicken
You heard it right.
shit.
Yeah,
We heard what he
Smells.
said.
Yeah.
I think he used that full term.
Yeah.
it's
So,
a technical term.
so I think we've reached a good position with that. It's, the question was, well, why didn't you include this in Title 12? Well, it was really a time constraint in terms of getting things through. But since they took a look at it, I said, you want to put it in Title 12? Go ahead. And they said, well, we don't need that. So,
So that's how it ended?
well, they've made some changes, which are fine with us and fine with the
Okay,
agency. But they don't feel the need to put it in Title 12.
So it's,
If
Right.
all they're doing is cross-referencing.
yeah, to 12. Yeah.
So-
Karen, I think suggested that.
yeah,
Somebody did right there at the end.
yeah, he did, it was him.
Yeah, but the committee didn't seem to, the committee wanted to do away with the language, including any condition or activity that occurs at any time on a farm, including all those activities defined as farming. And you may have heard I kind of pushed back on that a little bit.
We didn't hear that part.
Okay, it was toward the end.
Linda beat you. You know, she shut you down.
Thanks, Linda. Uh,
So what did you say, Carolyn?
So I said,
No, we
I said-
were done by then.
I don't know.
I said,
Something
just
happened.
as long as you all understand, I said, as people move into the state, there's not a great understanding of farming. As long as you understand that harvesting may occur at night,
Yeah,
that there are activities that smell like agitating a manure pit.
Yeah.
And that, that's part of farming.
yeah.
And they said, yep, they understood, even though the chair actually said yesterday, I don't know what a manure pit is.
No? She wanted to do a field trip?
Well, I remember, who was it, Bobby, that tried to open up the bottom of it, clean out a manure pit by sticking dynamite?
Bob Helm.
Bob, no.
No,
It was,
the guy from Rutland.
was it Bear?
Yeah, Tom Bayer.
Tom Bear. Yeah,
That's how he was gonna clean it up.
He almost drowned.
yeah. He ran for his life.
He didn't get out of the way. I mean, he was in it right up to here and,
Can only do that once.
I thought you were kidding when you first said it.
No, I mean, it's a story from long ago.
oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was over in the house,
yeah.
it had to have been 25 years ago.
Well, it couldn't have been more than 24 because I remember it. I mean, I don't remember it happening, but I remember you or somebody telling the story about him.
Oh,
Your
yeah.
memory only goes back a certain way.
He's the guy that
What's
had
that?
the
Your memory
4 by
only
8
goes back that
built
24
signs
years
on
is the hell long
plywood
I've been
sheet.
Yeah.
And he put up all over Addison County, vote for Tom Bayer.
He was from Brandon?
Yeah, down that way.
Oh, I remember
Yeah. Yeah, there's our friend again.
Um,
Oh, the
well,
guy in
it
the
sounds
costume?
like,
that.
so you,
Person out there?
Yeah.
did the committee
Did he
vote
have-
on your proposal?
We haven't gathered totally, but
No.
look at, a lot of them were in the room. And-
Not your committee.
Oh,
Their-
them?
or they just tell you it was fine
They
and,
said it was fine.
and the chair was there?
The chair was there, Martin Lalonde, who brought it up, was there. So they're having Michael draft the language. We'll take a look at it and I'd like to incorporate it in the final draft and then we will vote. Hopefully it'd be great if it happened before noon, but I know Michael's triple
Oh,
booked
he's
today.
awful, yeah.
So
And then we'll concur.
I have one committee member who has a medical appointment, so I'm insisting that he come back to vote. after
Well,
this
it
hearing.
sounds like you guys have
Yeah.
done well, and, we did vote the language for the airport.
Okay,
That's in
Franklin-
709 now.
Up in Franklin County,
okay,
and, it does, do away with the mitigation fees.
Yeah.
On just that one airport.
yeah,
It was broader.
yeah,
It was 2 or 3 pages long, and
right.
we got it,
What is he protesting?
we got it down to
PFAS.
PFAS?
that,
Okay.
and that'll be hopefully coming your way.
Okay,
We're gonna report the bill in tomorrow. And
okay,
so
on the
it'll be-
floor,
No,
No, because Chris isn't here, so we're gonna get his vote tomorrow, then send it up.
okay,
So it'll be on notice.
For
um,
next
Tuesday.
week. okay. So Linda, we'll want to hear from Gus Seelig.
Early next week or
Yeah,
tomorrow?
yeah, early next week.
Early next week.
or you can do it tomorrow if he can come. But I wanted you to have a copy of
Yeah,
that language, so.
Well, we already voted it out unanimously in favor
Yeah,
of
but
the,
we changed it to some,
Yeah, I hear you.
shortened it up so
Yeah.
that people don't have to spend a half hour
yeah,
reading it.
and you limited it.
Yep.
To Franklin County.
It's very tight.
We tightened it up.
Good,
And,
okay. Well, we should hear from Gus. Now, who did you
Well-
hear from on this?
Definitely Gus.
It was a long, long list.
Bizarre, we heard about.
Yeah, we heard from Trini,
That's right.
Trini
Trini
Broussard.
Broussard, AOT.
We heard from Brian Savage, who didn't know much about it at the time we spoke to him.
No,
Um,
so you've already taken some,
well, we passed it out of our committee.
uh,
It ended up in natural resources,
we
our natural
We
resources.
basically, from Gus, he basically said that, you know, he didn't have a dog in the fight. He only accepts and receives the money or a
Yeah.
certain percentage of the money.
Okay,
And that, really, I think he said he didn't,
Yeah, he didn't say
it
much,
was up to us.
which is good. I mean,
He gave us a little history. So the FAA, prior to the mitigation provision rule, said that you can't grow any crops
right,
around an airport.
right,
The soil is sandy.
yeah.
And so,
They don't want to attract birds or
Right.
deer.
yeah, so that preceded any mitigation provisions anyway. So we think we're on pretty solid ground. His point, I think, if I can characterize it, he was afraid that somebody else might come in later and want equal treatment this way.
Yeah.
But the problem is, this is a unique situation where
Yeah,
federal law won't allow you to do it anyway. You can't grow anything on that. land.
exactly.
So
Yeah,
we're fine.
yeah. You can't use that land for anything but aviation.
Right.
Is what we heard.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
even if you do like a fair or something, it has to be aviation related. We heard that from Bob Flint at Hartness.
Oh, we didn't hear that, but that makes sense.
We tried to get Tim Smith in to testify.
Yeah, he'd be good.
From the Regional Development Agency.
Okay, Tim Smith.
But he
Oh,
left or was leaving for vacation.
oh, okay.
Jackie?
I just had a question about that, because we did testify too about it, mostly I'm concerned about the fairs and field day, the Franklin County Fair. But so we have a soil map of prime ag land. So does that need to be readjusted for the airports if FAA trumps what the state has designated? I mean, it seems to me that the maps are not updated then if the feds can trump what the state has said has to be mitigated. And I'm just wondering if there are any other possibilities that might come up where you're gonna run into this situation if those maps aren't updated. And I don't know how old they are either, so it was a question I had as I was listening
Yeah,
to
We
the
did,
conversation.
That's a good point. We did have, Corey gave us a map of the
Yeah,
Highgate Airport, Franklin County State Airport. And there are some spots on that show that there's some, and they grade it by number, and I don't know what the numbers mean, but there's some that do have some agricultural benefit, but nothing within that zone. They're gonna extend the runway by 1,000 feet.
Yeah.
That's all they wanna do.
yeah,
I
And
know
some
it makes sense that they don't want deer or
Yeah, of
farmers or
course.
anybody, but
birds.
you have a map that is the guideline for everything that you folks do here that is now not correct.
yeah.
I don't know how old those maps are
The
either.
part that was troubling to me was that it was stated prime ag soils, and that is not, that soil up there is not prime ag soil. Connecticut River Valley or the Missisquoi Bay, the Missisquoi River valleys, that's where your prime ag soils are, and there should be some way of differentiating between prime ag soils and just plains sand or soils. And maybe if you put that on the list, we can deal with that another year. You know, on the other airports, get maps in, look at them
Yeah,
and try to figure that out.
yeah. Well, I think it's good we're doing this. I mean, I had committee members who were really opposed to it because it was prime ag soil and they felt, why does the state not have to do, like mitigate? Everybody else does. But,
Well, which
When-
is true,
yeah,
and we wouldn't do that in a normal
yeah,
prime ag soil situation.
yeah,
I mean, who the heck protects ag more than the two ag committees?
right.
Yeah.
But they, like, I think they came around and they saw, this is an opportunity for, oh. Hi, Tina? Well, listen, I'm in a committee meeting. Can I call you back in a little while? Okay. Thank you. All right. Bye.
So,
It's my daughter-in-law, so,
yeah, I
you
want,
always wonder.
I want people to understand that regardless of how busy we are in the Senate Ag Committee, we'll allow personal phone calls to be taken.
Well, I would hope so.
For certain people.
Yes,
So
I
for
would.
certain, yeah, for certain people,
Yeah. When the daughter-in-law calls,
you
two
win.
grandchildren, I answer.
So,
I would just say to any of the members that, you still gonna get that?
No.
Oh,
She's gonna leave me.
that might still be wondering about it, that the definition from the FAA is it's not prime ag land because you can't grow anything on it. So by definition,
Well, what you will hear in response to that
yeah,
is you will hear Rodney say, you can grow stuff on sandy soil. And it's hard for me to rebut because I did work at Harlow Farm for several years in the fields. And it is really sandy soil and it grows great veggies. But,
no water?
well, they have the Connecticut River right next to
Well,
it.
yeah, but you
And
have
they have an
to,
irrigation pond.
are
they
you
have-
registered to suck water out of the Connecticut River?
is it more than 5,000 gallons a
By
day?
the way, what's going on with the water sucking bill?
Oh, that's another
Water
thing.
sucking.
Anyway, my point was,
466.
the FAA has already said, regardless of whether you could or couldn't, you cannot grow crops.
I know, and that's the same argument I made.
Okay.
But it's not because it's not prime ag, it's because they won't let you. So that, I mean,
I'm not
that's the
convinced so.
issue.
What I'm
Right.
saying is that you can't suck that water out of the Connecticut River unless you're registered and licensed.
They
So,
have an irrigation pond.
Got a permit.
So what's going on with that bill?
I don't know,
Okay,
it's going well, I think.
okay, good,
Well,
excellent. So did
we
you
got-
make any other changes to 709?
No.
Okay, good. So we can essentially concur with this.
On our bill?
Yeah.
Other than, yeah, that one you're good to go.
Yeah.
466, you're, H 466.
Yes.
Hopefully you'll concur on that one as amended.
Well, if we'll go back to natural resources, we didn't get a chance to weigh in on it.
Well, usually as a chair of a committee, you get up and ask for a bill and somehow it gets to your committee.
Yeah, and I'm in a mood to do that
Um,
after 258.
So anyways, I think we're gonna get a copy.
As long as you figure it out.
Who you're leaving the figuring up to.
You, you're the one that has it, right?
We do.
Like, is
So-
that in here? Are you sure that?
I heard that it was.
I thought they went right by us with
I think
that.
it went to institutions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mean you didn't get possession of it?
Well, I forgot to ask.
They have it.
Um,
I've already been
we'll-
twice to talk to them about it.
We'll, no, we did, I just gave you,
Yes, the
didn't I
airport.
give you the language?
For what? The
Oh, we gave
horses?
you the airport language.
Yeah,
We'll send you the other language,
Linda will get it.
yeah.
We don't have it yet.
Okay. All right.
When we get
Did you figure it
that
out?
from
Yeah, pretty
Michael.
much.
It's a good bill.
Yeah, I think, my God, hopefully get it figured out, so everybody's satisfied.
Can you give me the salient points, or are you gonna just shuffle
I'd
around?
rather not, because I like to play my cards close until I got the right hand to,
You got to know when to fold them.
That was a great one by Corey.
What did he say?
Oh, he introduced an amendment. I don't even remember what it was on now. And then he stood up and he said, Kenny Rogers had a song. You gotta know when to hold them, you gotta know when to fold them. And he said, I'd like to withdraw my amendment and sat down. I thought that was
No,
great.
he did well on
Yeah.
that.
Good for him, good for him.
No,
All right, we good?
we'll get you a copy of that language,
Do you have any dark chocolate in here?
sure, any kind you want.
We got more over here.
Hershey's Special. Ooh.
That's,
This is all Tom Chittenden's candy.
Who?
Senator Chittenden.
Oh,
He grows it.
oh, he does?
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Okay, I've got
Put it
enough.
on Prime
Chip
Action.
this, chip this away.
He's got a
from me,
permit
Brian.
for it.
I think Carolyn, they're in pretty good shape.
I think so.
You know, unless we run into a situation with a water quality bill, I think our ag bills are good, moving in each direction.
So who do you want to send up to talk about the airport, Bill?
Corey.
Corey's
Right,
gonna
okay.
report that
Good.
bill with that amendment on it, and that's it.
It's his airport.
The only, I
Yeah.
believe, the we made,
It is.
because we did the bill quite a while ago,
Yeah,
and thought that was fun.
Do you want me to see if he can come in this afternoon?
sure.
So that, I think we're going. If
Sounds good.
you run into something between now and Monday or Tuesday, Monday, the airport language, look that over good, and
Yeah,
you're gonna have to talk with, if we get that by our other committee, you're gonna need to talk to Amy and your natural resources committee to accept that,
yeah,
if it all, or at least understand it.
yeah.
And I think, I feel good about what we're attempting to do. We just gotta look at the language, because the first draft was still messed up.
Yeah,
And so it should be, Michael should be fine.
okay, so Michael is doing this one, I see, and maybe he can come in and talk to us about the airport language too. Should we wait until you get it through? Let's wait until next week, but,
Yeah,
Oh, you don't want Corey to this afternoon?
on the airport.
On the
You could,
Yes.
because you've already seen 709 and we
Oh,
didn't
we're
change
waiting.
anything else.
Yes, on the airport, but no on the water quality.
Yeah, because we gotta,
Water.
I haven't dealt with fish yet, because we haven't had a
yeah,
clear shot of it.
yeah,
And, so, but we'll get you a copy of it,
okay,
once we've approved as a committee.
okay, that's perfect.
And, we'll go from there.
Yeah, okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
down.
Always a pleasure, and nice to be in a bigger room. than
Yeah,
that
this was a
cloud.
beautiful.
This one's great. Are you
Yeah.
gonna keep this? I think you should.
I'd like it, it's at the end of the world.
You've got
Down in the
fireplace,
hallway.
Yeah. it's nice.
Oh, in the afternoon.
painting.
Well, that's not.
So I think-
Yeah, I want to change, get our ag pictures in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you should.
I think you should take it over, Bobby.
House ag has moved in quite comfortably. It's there.
Yeah.
We're gonna
They've
keep
got
that
all
one
their
too.
ag
don't.
They got a nice.
They got a nice room?
Well, they have, government operations,
It's the old
but they
go
brought
box.
all their decorations and stuff in, so it looks,
That,
feels
no,
homey.
conference room.
And we pull Hudson's picture up too.
Yeah, we did. We left Cole's picture.
Good.
And we don't really have room for the big sheep, the card sheep.
Yeah,
There you
yeah,
go.
I remember that.
In
And
your
it
other
was-
room.
It would,
And all those rooms are not too big, other than the two corner.
yeah, right, exactly.
Is
Well,
it
the
like-
corner rooms, it's our old room and institutions that were too small. So now those are
She's in.